Guys, welcome to World War III, episode number 25, and I actually have two amazing visuals, and I'm actually debating what I should title this video. Should I title this video The Worst Tweet Ever or The Most Amazing Graph Ever? I think I'm going to do the worst tweet because I came across a tweet yesterday about Elon Musk taking back Twitter. There's about 7 things that are so blatantly anti-First Amendment with just these crazy trigger words that I get so annoyed with. This tweet, I think it is the worst tweet of all time, honestly. I am exaggerating, but it is funny. And then also, I came across a crazy graph to where if anyone ever questions why Elon Musk is buying Twitter, you literally just have to show them this graph and it's an explanation. You don't even have to talk. But let's get to the tweet first. You can I'm not sure who this is. I'm sure this is some crazy liberal who probably wants to burn his own skin off because he's white. He's got white guilt. White people are terrible. They're terrorists. We all know. Guys, we all know these things. So let's get to his tweet. Now that Elon Musk is buying Twitter, the question for all of us is, will he allow a criminal who used this platform to lie and spread disinformation to try to overthrow the U.S. government to return and continue his criminal activity? And if he does, how do we combat it? So if Elon Musk allows a United States citizen to express his First Amendment right on Twitter, how do we silence him? That's what this dude is asking. There is so many things ridiculously wrong, ridiculously anti-American about this tweet. It's like, I was thinking about this morning. If you are a liberal person arguing and you're pissed that Elon Musk is buying Twitter to instill the First Amendment onto Twitter, it's basically the equivalent of an extremely spoiled little, 12-year-old kid who's used to, getting the newest Xbox every single Christmas, and then one Christmas he just gets normal stuff and he throws a little fit. It's like liberals have had this crazy advantage on social media where they never have to worry about getting banned or anything like conservatives. And we're going to get to my other visual, which is a crazy graph that shows just how liberal Twitter is. Liberals have had this, crazy advantage on social media. Now, it's not like you're going to be silenced. Elon Musk is not silent. See, that's the thing. They're trying to create a false narrative. Now they're saying, oh, what if I talk bad about Elon Musk, is he going to silence me? No! That's the point of the First Amendment. That's why Elon Musk wants Twitter. He wants to own it so he can instill the First Amendment. So you can talk bad about him. They're creating a total false narrative. And then the guys, notice the use of the word disinformation. I've said this before. I think Obama either said misinformation or disinformation in a quote a few weeks ago that I talked about. They use the words, it's either misinformation or disinformation, as kind of a buffer to basically ban anyone. So if you say something they don't like, they'll call it misinformation or disinformation. You're spreading misinformation, we're going to ban you. That is a code word. That's one of the worst words in the English dictionary, is misinformation and disinformation, because it's a gateway word that allows people, it's basically a reason why they can ban you. With the Hunter Biden story. The Hunter Biden story wasn't false, but they didn't like the Hunter Biden story, so they called it misinformation and banned it from being shown because it might have impacted Biden's chances of winning the 2020 election. They call it misinformation and disinformation. Was it misinformation? Was it disinformation? No. Did the American people have the right to know about that Hunter Biden story? Yes, but they didn't like that, so they used the excuse, they used the buffer, the gateway word of disinformation as a way to ban it. It is a terrible word. Never use the word misinformation. Never use the word disinformation. And of course, this goes back to the whole January 6th thing. We all understand at this point that they needed a reason to get Donald Trump off of social media. to where they couldn't just say, well, we're taking him off because we don't like him. So they used the excuse of January 6th as a way to limit Donald Trump's reach by banning him off of Twitter, off of Facebook, off of YouTube. This was all coordinated. It all happened at the exact same time, and they all coordinated it. If you're going to ban them at the exact same time off of every major social media platform, there has to be some sort of cooperation between these platforms. And they said, you know what, January 6th is the perfect excuse we need. Again, you can't just outright ban Donald Trump because people will be like, okay, that is over the line. You need some sort of excuse. Liberals took the January 6th excuse. They said he was inciting violence on social media. That's what caused January 6th. It is a total false equivalency. It's a total joke, but they needed something and they ended up getting it. And this tweet is just, again, it's the whole idea. If you're a liberal, and obviously, it's not great. You had a massive advantage on social media before the First Amendment comes in. Now Elon buys it, but it's basically the equivalency of a 12-year-old kid who's spoiled rotten. Every Christmas, he gets the newest and greatest gadget. He gets $1,000 worth of electronics, and the one Christmas he doesn't get exactly what he wants, he throws a little hissy fit. Like, instead of liberals having this massive bias, this massive control over social media, now we get the First Amendment installed. So now we're not going to silence you, but we're going to let the other side talk. And they throw a little hissy fit about that. That's what it is. I thought that was just a crazy, like, there's so many things. Just whenever I see the word misinformation or disinformation, it's such I get so angry. Here's another, this is funny. So this is what Donald Trump had to say about the Elon Musk Twitter situation. Trump to Fox News, quote, "I'm not going to Twitter. I'm going to stay on Truth," which is his social media platform, Truth Social. "We're taking in millions of people, and what we're finding is the response on Truth is much better than being on Twitter, blah, 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 blah." So Donald Trump invested a bunch of money into creating his own social media site. And I don't know if I highly doubt he'll listen to any sort of advisor he has, but if I was an advisor to Donald Trump, I would say your little social media site has 0.000000000% chance of working or being anything more than a ridiculous Republican echo chamber. What liberal in their right mind is going to join a social media site that was created by Donald Trump or in relation to Donald Trump? It's a complete Republican echo chamber. It is a horrible way to get social media news. Even if you're a Republican, being in an echo chamber like that where everyone thinks the same way and, a liberal goes on and tries to make sensible points and they get shot down. It's the same thing with Reddit. Like with the political page on Reddit, it's so liberal, it's impossible to look at it because it's so one way. It's just a liberal echo chamber. Donald Trump needs to realize this was a failed investment. You will not be it. You're Donald Trump. You're ridiculously polarizing. The left is not going to join the social media site that you created. You have to, I understand Trump has money in this and everything, but there's zero chance it's going to work. Zero. The whole idea of being on social media and putting the First Amendment into Twitter is because both Republicans and Democrats use Twitter, and we want to allow them to have healthy, common discourse without one party potentially getting banned or shadow banned. Truth Social, there's no liberals on it. It's like Gitter. It's like Parler was, where if one liberal goes on it and they have a normal, sensible point, they're going to get just crushed by anyone, so no liberal is going to go on it. So Donald Trump, again, I understand he has money in it. If I was his advisor, I would be like, you're wasting your time with Truth Social or whatever social media site you try and run. It's just going to be a complete Republican echo chamber, unless maybe he wants a complete Republican echo chamber with just his fans. Maybe that's what he wants, but I just thought that was something I wanted to talk about. All right, now this is the graph, the crazy graph I was talking about, and I think I'm just going to put this up on the full screen because it is such a crazy graph. This is employee donations to the midterm candidates by party. So these are the employees of these companies. You can see 99.6% of the employees at Netflix are donating to liberal candidates. 98.7% of Twitter employees are donating to liberal candidates. Basically, every Silicon Valley's on there. Apple, Airbnb, Lyft, Google, Facebook, Tesla, eBay, PayPal, all 80-90% of the employee money is going to liberal candidates. It just goes to show you, like, if anyone asks, why does Elon Musk feel the need to buy Twitter? He's power hungry. 98.7% of their employees basically, I know it's not an exact correlation. Some people don't donate. Maybe there's some Republican employees at Twitter that don't donate, although that's highly unlikely. Basically, 98% of Twitter employees that are reading tweets and deciding who to ban and who not to ban are liberal. Yeesh, that's a little biased, right? Only 98.7. Netflix, it's 99.6. I wonder what's the one conservative that works for Netflix that's donating to the Republicans with the 0.4%. They're probably getting called a racist and getting death threats every single day. But this is just crazy. So this is the 2022 election, the 2022 midterms. I believe that's what this is updated for. And it's every Silicon Valley, Intel, eBay, Oracle, which is, we know Oracle Arena, or it was Oracle Arena. I don't know if it's named that, but from San Francisco. I'm shocked they're not more liberal. They're the lowest one, with 66% of the employee money getting donated to liberals versus 33% going to the conservatives. So like they say, a graph is, a picture is worth 1,000 words. That is so crazy that 99% of your employees are donating to one specific party, and you think you're non-biased with the way you police your social media when you're banning people for stuff that has to do with politics. That is so pathetic. So pathetic. I thought that this picture, this graph shows so much. It really does. It shows everything. Here's another tweet. It says, Trump says tonight that he was, quote, amazed it didn't get out, that he told the president of a NATO country in a closed-door meeting that he would refuse to honor the treaty and defend other NATO countries if they were attacked by Russia unless they spent more on defense. So this is something I completely agree with Trump on. I've been saying it from the beginning. Trump realizes it. The NATO alliance, with where we currently stand in 2022, does a lot more harm to the United States than good, because the United States is by far the most powerful military in this alliance. It's not even close. If you took every single other NATO country's military budget, combined it wouldn't be bigger than the United States. So when you have a military alliance where you're so much more powerful than every other country in the alliance combined, whenever something happens to one of these countries, the obligation is always going to fall back on the United States. All of these other countries, no matter if it's a war in Europe, which is what we've been seeing, all of these other countries are going to expect the United States, because we are so much bigger, with our military, the obligation is on us to pitch in the most support for any NATO country that gets attacked, even if it doesn't make sense for the United States to send the support that these countries want in Europe when we're dealing with a major superpower that's forming in the Pacific. So Donald Trump, I'm completely in agreement here. We see this 100%. Me and Trump don't agree on some things, but this is something with Trump, with NATO. It is not a good alliance. NATO was created in a completely different world than we are today. The United States did not have the military advantage over these other NATO countries when this was created after the fall of Germany in World War II and the whole never again thing. We got to create a military alliance so other countries won't attack certain European countries. If you attack a European country, you're attacking Canada because they're in NATO. You're attacking the United States because they're in NATO. It would deter a country like Russia from attacking. Obviously, Ukraine is not a member of NATO, but this agreement it's so one-sided, and really, I don't have anything against these Western European countries. It's just the logistics of this agreement. If these other European countries had bigger militaries, I would be completely fine with this alliance. It's just the United States is so much bigger that whenever one of these countries gets attacked, the obligation, because the United States military is so much bigger than every other one of these NATO members' militaries combined, the obligation, and what Trump is basically saying is, if you want the United States help, you need to spend more on military. You need to strengthen your own military. So that's what he's saying, and then that's a whole different issue with these countries and how much they spend on military. So, but the whole idea that NATO is not a good at this point, remember, NATO was created 60, 70, 80 years ago. It's a completely different world we're living in at this point, and we need to adapt to the modern times. We now know there are two superpowers in this world, the United States and China. Russia is not a superpower. Any of those Western European countries, they're not superpowers. It's the United States and it's China, and China is gaining fast on us. I've talked about China at length and the things that they're doing and the advantages that they have with a communist government and a communist rule, the advantages they have over their people, controlling their people. They're really a well-oiled machine. Obviously, communism is not something that citizens would want, but when you're controlling a vast amount of people, that is, an ideology that can be positive for the government to have control over that many people. The population density in China is so ridiculous. But overall, guys, just those two things, that tweet, it's just, listen, it's tough because you have to understand with liberals, obviously, Elon Musk buying Twitter is not a good development for you, but in the long run, having a social media platform as big as Twitter, as influential as Twitter, allowing free speech on there, while it might not seem like a positive right now because conservatives were the ones that were getting shut down, now they're not going to get shut down. The overall, in time, it is going to be better, and it is going to be to the benefit of the American people overall that we have free speech on a platform like Twitter. That's with me understanding if Twitter, they're a private company, they can ban whoever they want to ban. Twitter's a private company, and Elon Musk can buy Twitter and put the First Amendment on Twitter. He has that right too. So when liberals say Twitter's a private company, yeah, Elon Musk just bought it. He has a right to buy it, just like Twitter has a right to ban conservatives. Elon Musk has a right to buy Twitter if they agree to it, and Elon Musk has the right to instill the First Amendment onto Twitter if they want it. Again, my comparison, it's like a 10-year-old kid who gets the newest Xbox. He gets, $10,000 in cash every Christmas. He gets spoiled, and then one Christmas, he still gets good stuff, but he's not spoiled. It's like liberals have enjoyed this major advantage on social media, this major bias. 99% of their employees who are banning people are donating to Democratic candidates. They're extremely liberal. And now, it's not like Elon Musk is going to ban you, but he's going to let the other side talk. He's not going to shadow ban conservatives. He's not going to ban Donald Trump. Things like that. And, again, the whole idea, it's like, people are like, well, is Elon Musk going to, ban me if I talk bad about Tesla? No! That's the whole point of free speech. That's what he's saying. That's why he's saying he needs to take over Twitter, so you can have free speech to talk bad about Elon Musk, to talk bad about whatever you want on social media. That's the whole point of it. Don't bring in a false equivalency like Elon Musk is doing this because he's afraid of criticism. It's just ridiculous and it's so disingenuous. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.